Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. I'm Lorraine and we are going to make one of those fan cards today. There are 4 steps to doing this card and we're going to do each one in turn. I am going to do a PDF download and it'll be on the website. I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. So this is what the card looks like and this is how we're going to build it. We're going to start with the card base, and what we need for the card base, I'm just going to move this up here and this down here. I've got everything written out, but again, I will do a PDF. So we need our card base, and this is Melon Mambo, and it is 5.5 by 8.5. It is scored at the 4 1/4. And what we need to do is we need to measure in 2.5 inches from the edge. So that's what I've done. I'm at 2.5. I've got a little pencil mark there. Then we need a 5 1/4 by 4 mat. And again, we need to measure in 2.5 inches from the right hand edge, which I've done. And then our designer series paper is 5 by 3 3/4, again measured in 2.5 from the edge, and I've got that pencil mark there. So now we're going to cut things. So I just need to make sure that I'm in frame with my cutter. So we're going to take our card, the whole card base, and we're going to put that pencil line right in the middle of our trough, and we're going to put our corner right in the line of that trough. You need to do this as accurately as possible. So we're going to pop like that, and then we're going to cut that off. We keep this piece. We need this piece for the wide fan. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this over and give it a little bit of a push there. Okay, so that is the base, and now we're going to take our piece of basic white. We're going to do the same thing. Pencil mark in the trough, point of the card base or of the paper in the trough. Make sure we are straight and cut. This piece, it's the instructions that I followed, which were from Patty Dolan. So Patty Dolan, this is where I got these instructions from. It said to save this, but I didn't find another use for it. So that's got that piece cut. And now we're going to cut our designer series paper. Same thing again, that pencil mark in the trough, bottom corner in the trough. And you've seen me drop my blade down kind of in the middle of the paper. We don't want to come up into a corner because it will, it'll smudge up the corner, like scooch up the corner. Okay, so this is the outside of the card. So what we need to do now is we just layer all these pieces up. We're going to just adhere our cards, or our designer series paper, to our cardstock, doing equal borders. There we go. And then we're going to take that whole thing and we're going to put it on the front of the card. I am just making a mess. Okay, again, equal top, bottom, and side. And pop that down. And that's the front of the card. Now we need to do the inside of the card. So the inside of the card, we've got white designer series paper, 5 1/4 by 4. We're not cutting that, it's fine. The designer series paper, we want a contrasting designer series paper for the inside. This is a 5 by 3 3/4. So it's the same as size as the designer series paper on the front of the card. But we've got our 2.5 inch measured in. Line that up in the trough. Line the point up in the trough, and then we need to save this piece. This piece we can actually use on a second card. Like a lot of this, we could use on a second card. So let's just pop this out of the way. And then we're going to adhere this piece to the top corner. This is going to go in like this. So we're going to put this in the top corner like that. There we go. And then we adhere this down. Now, after we do that, we need to make the wide fan and the narrow fan. So just line that up again, equal side, top and bottom. There we go. And that is our card so far. I'm just gonna do this with the bone folder again, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we've got the card base, we've got the inside of the card. Now, for the wide fan, we need the piece we cut off the card base. We need some for the white triangle, and for the designer series paper. Again, for the wide fan, we need the contrasting designer series paper. And what we're going to do is we need the white to be 2 1/4 by 5 1/8, and then we're going to cut diagonally. The contrasting designer series paper is 1 7/8 by 4 7/8, and again, it's cut diagonally, and then we layer everything up. So let's go ahead and do our diagonal cuts. And these ones, it's we're putting our points in the trough and then dropping our blade down. And we need this one. Now, again, if you're making a second card, absolutely, you can make 2 cards at once here with these fans. Again, points in the trough. Drop the blade down, and there we go. And we need this piece here, and that piece is an extra. Okay, so we're just going to adhere all of this together. And make sure you got adhesive right to the very end, because otherwise it'll flick up. So we're going to pop this down like this. I'm just going to hold it at the top, and I'm going to guide it down. Because you don't have that same margin all the way down. It gets thinner as you go to the point. And again, make sure you've got adhesive right on that bottom point there. And again, I'm going to hold it and make sure that I'm kind of equal all the way down. There we go. So that is the wide fan. Now we're going to do the narrow fan. So we've got a piece of our card base cardstock, same color. It's not from the card base, but same color as the card base. We've got a piece of basic white, and then we've got the same designer series paper that was on the front. So this is 5 1/2 by 1 1/2. This is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. This is 1 by 5. So they're coming down by 1/4 inches. So 1 1/2, 1 1/4, 1, 5 1/2, 5 1/4, 5. And we need to take all of these and cut them on the diagonal. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to, again, line everything up as best we can to get the points in the trough. And if you feel it move, correct before you cut. Okay. Okay, so we need to keep this piece, and that's an extra. And then we're doing the same thing again. Point to point diagonals. Just checking to make sure I'm still in frame. Okay, we're keeping that one, putting that one off to the side. Doing this one. See, these really small ones are a bit of a challenge sometimes to make sure they stay where you've put them to cut them. Okay, we keep this piece and we put this piece off to the side. Same thing, we're going to adhere all this together. Now, in the instructions from Patty Dolan, she dimensionalized the fans onto the card front. And I found that made the card front really, really tall. So I am going to flat mount the fans together and then dimensionalize them onto the, well, I'm going to dimensionalize the one fan onto the front of the card, and then I'm going to just adhere the smaller fan just so it's not quite so heavy. And again, I've lined it up at the top, and I'm going to hold on to that tail and then put it down, making sure that I'm even at the bottom. So that is our narrow fan. Now we need to bring this all back in, and we need to put it together. So we're going to place this so that we know where to put it down. So it's going right down into the corner here and lining up with our top edge there. Now I'm only going to put dimensionals in this section here, because otherwise you'll see them. Now you've got a couple of options. You can mark a line with a pencil. If you open this up, line it up, open it up, you could make a pencil line here and then not put any dimensionals above that line. I'm going to wing it, and I'm just going to pop some dimensionals, and then I'm going to put one like that, one like that. And before I adhere them down, I'm just going to make sure that you can't see them, and you can't. So I'm just going to pop this down like this. And the greeting is from the stamp set. I don't have the stamp set because I needed the space for all the instructions. But I've got the greeting. The greeting is from the stamp set, and I cut it out with the, oh, no, I've forgotten it. Many Messages, is it the die? More Messages die. It's the one that cuts them all out together. That's great for pre-cutting a whole bunch of blanks for your cards. Okay, so this one, this is the narrow fan, and it comes up to a point like that. So what you get is kind of lots of layers right here. So we don't want adhesive right to the top. So I'm going to put adhesive like this and make sure I've got adhesive right down to the bottom. And then I'm going to place this at the top like that. And then again, pull that point down at the bottom to make sure that it kind of lines up evenly. So there we go. So that's basically our fan card made. You got lots of room to write your greeting inside. And then I'm going to dimensionalize this on. I played with different greetings and different ways to do this, and some covered up the fan piece, but I wanted to really leave the effect of the fan piece. So I just use this one, and again, the More Messages, and I'm just popping this down at the bottom here like this, and it's stamped in the Melon Mambo. And you could absolutely just add some color around the edge, but I really want, for this one, I want the focus to be on those fans. But I am going to just pop these are the Antique Pearls, and I colored them with a Dark Melon Mambo blends. So I've got a couple there, and I'm just going to pop one up here like that. So that is our fan card. We've got the one this is Blueberry Bushel, and then we've got the Melon Mambo. So let me know which color you prefer, and let's create together again soon.